Welcome to the Human Design Profiles, an entrepreneurship podcast. I'm your host, Chantelle. I'm a 1-3 manifesting generator, a small business strategist, workshop facilitator, and the author of the Aligned Action series for solo entrepreneurs. This podcast is an active learning experiment. It's all about how we experience entrepreneurship as individuals while we're also satisfying our desire for self-awareness. It's very true to my profile as a 1-3, wanting to get to the bottom of things. Each episode is a profile of a human design enthusiast / business owner who's here to share how their personal profile lines influence their business journey. And today, my conversation is with Erika, the founder of Deavi Marketing, who started her career in the tourism and hospitality industry, but luckily was brave enough to step out of this industry and follow her heart towards marketing. She started as a freelancer, but deep down, she knew that her true calling was to start her own business where she could have full control over her career and serve businesses in a way that also resonated with them. Now, she not only provides social media content, but also teaches business owners how to grow on Instagram. Have a listen while today's guest, Erika, a 5-1, shares her story while you read between the lines. So, Erika, people with a 1 line in their profile seem to have a unique experience when discovering human design for the first time because there's a lot of foundational information to dive into, and us 1 lines love that. Is that true for you in how you felt when you discovered human design?
I was personally quite surprised that when you do the test and when you read the report about yourself, you're feeling like the analysis already knows me. And at the same time, it felt scary. But the more I read it, the more fascinated and excited I was. It feels like it knows you so well as
I
a
agree.
person.
I tend to like human design a little better than other systems because for whatever reason, and this is probably just made up in my own mind, but for whatever reason, I feel like the ones where it's a questionnaire, for example, Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs, the ones where you have to answer questions, I always feel like I'm trying to not game the system, but I'm like, oh, I know what this answer relates to. And I feel like it changes my answers when I'm answering a questionnaire. But with human design, because it's based on my birth time and my birth location, I can't change that. I can't be influenced at all. And so for me, human design felt a little bit more valid. That's not to invalidate those systems at
I
all.
agree.
Like,
I agree.
I think there's just something, maybe it's a 1 line thing of like, oh, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I know what this question is trying to measure or whatever. So I've always resisted all of the other
Yeah.
systems where it's like typing in into questionnaires.
Your mood has huge impact. Like if
Hmm.
you're feeling a little down, your answers will be kind of showing your mood. And also sometimes you also like to live up to your standard of yourself. This is how I want to be. So when you pick the answer,
Absolutely.
you're not picking exactly how you would behave right now, but your ideal you. So
Yes,
it's also not
absolutely.
clear.
Well said. Yeah, totally. And I can relate to your experience when reading your chart for the first time too. I remember that feeling as well. Like just everything I read for the first little while was like, yep, 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 that's me. 100%. It was very affirming.
Yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of explains, oh, this is why I tend to do or tend to think these things. In
Yeah.
my case,
Mhm.
when I think about it, how much I like to investigate, to go to the bottom of things. Sometimes it scares me. I'm like, how can I live like a normal human being without, having the need to get to the bottom of things? Oh, this is something new. How does it work? When does it work? And then you go, really, you investigate.
I know we're so analytical. Like I can't just let something be. It's
Yeah,
not in my personality whatsoever.
yeah, yeah, true. High five.
What are some 1 line kind of things that you're investigating right now? Topics that really interest you?
Currently for me as a social media specialist, Instagram expert, I always go to the bottom of things related to Instagram where when everyone is saying, oh, do this, do this, do this, and I'm like, are you sure? And then I do
Mhm.
my own, again, investigation, analysis, research from all of the accounts to see whether what people are saying is actually true,
Mhm.
especially other marketing specialists or even other business owners when they say, don't do this, do that. But I see this working on other people's profiles. So then I like to go to the bottom of this, like, why?
Mhm. What does that investigation look like? Do you dive into data on client accounts, or how does that look?
For me, I always analyze and take inspiration, take example from business owners who are far ahead from me, who have gone through what I am going through, the same challenges, they have grown so much. And I always look to them as inspiration. And I always like to analyze what they are doing, what they are talking about. And then I also like to do analysis of similar accounts to mine, or also pages that are growing, because what I like to do is teach. And many people say, oh, you have to only post reels, for example. But I have seen so many pages doing absolutely well with carousels. So there's no one answer for everyone, as I'd like to say. I really hate it when people say, like one strategy, one thing, and then they give it for everyone. This is what you have to do without analysis.
Right.
As you said, we are analytical, and you have to understand, and then you have to personalize the recommendations, the guidance, the support, the teaching, everything. And you can't just say do this because everyone else is saying.
Right. And it's interesting that us as one lines who have gone deep into the information, we both have that same approach of nothing is prescriptive. Like, I did not dive into all of this information to find the one answer that will work for everyone else. I dove deep into this information to find that there are many answers and it's different for every person. At the base of that one line exploration is the realization that there is no one answer.
And when someone tries to give me that one answer, I'm very resistant. If someone gives me one option, I will show them that there is more.
I love that. I don't think I asked you, what is your type? Are you like a manifestor or a generator? MG?
Manifestor, yeah.
Manifestor. Okay. Manifestors love to affect change and like come up with innovative solutions. Is that something that resonates with you as a 5-1?
Yes. As I said, I like to go against the system if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And if I find something else that is working, I'll always do my best to share, to teach that way. And also, it's part of it identifying what's missing. So if it's something very important other people are not talking about, I'm always there to push it forward. And also, not only in terms of work, also in my personal life, I realized I found a way for manifestation that works for me specifically.
Oh, cool.
So it can be even things like, I think this was the biggest, not exactly shock, but surprise, as I was saying in the beginning, when I read the report and I was like, oh, this explains it. So it was a kind of surprise, like with such little information, how much truth came out. The manifestation part was a surprise for me, because without realizing it, I was simply, if I want something, I will write it. And then I came up, I will write 10 times, 10 lines. Same thing as I already have that thing. I like to, sell my old clothing, my handbags, things like that. And there was a moment when no one was buying it. And I was like, I want to sell 2 items this week. So I wrote 10 lines with, I sold 2 items this week. I sold 2 items this week. And then it went down like 10 lines. That was a thing Tuesday or Wednesday. And I sold third item on Sunday. So I realized the more I practice it, the more it works. And I think this is kind of the magic beauty of it. It's within me and me seeing it work.
That's amazing. I love affirmations, but when I'm doing that kind of writing exercise, I'm more like you, where I'm writing something from the perspective of having already received it or having already experienced it. And you're right, the power of doing that multiple times is so huge. Are there any other practices that are like that you find really supportive to yourself as a 5-1 and a manifestor in business?
I think there are many things that I'm practicing. I also do meditation, try to do daily, but sometimes busyness happens. Yeah, so I skip like 1 or 2 days. But being stubborn at the same time, whenever I say I want this, I will make sure that I will get it. And then without even realizing, my mind, whenever even I'm working, my mind is already, trying to find ways on how to get that thing. And I think it's also happening not whenever I'm writing, but when I'm working, when I'm sleeping, because it's always in my head. And It even happened that sometimes I go to bed and then I wake up maybe around 4, 5 a.m. And then suddenly ideas hit my head. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do this. So the only thing you need is like either your phone, notebook, or pen and paper. And then these ideas, the solutions simply come. And I read this in a book, and I think it's extremely helpful and useful when something is on your mind when it comes to business. Let's say you're looking for other ways to grow. Ask yourself, what can I do or to, let's say, get more clients, or what is stopping me in my business? Let's say when you feel something is not okay, but you can't quite understand what it is. Clearly state the question for yourself before bed. So what is stopping me from getting more clients, let's say? Repeat this a few times in your head and then go to sleep. And then the next day, without realizing, maybe you will be cooking breakfast. The answer will come to you and you will feel it because it comes to you at a certain feeling. And I think I personally see this as also manifestation also coming, helping me. And because my mind is already thinking as if I have it, now I just need to find a way what to do to get it. And I think these ideas are part of it coming to me. I just learned how to identify them, how to also accept them. Sometimes we don't want to accept them, which is also a sad thing. Sometimes we lack confidence, but we need to learn how to identify them because these things, these ideas, these solutions, they do come to us if we ask ourselves as well.
That's such a great tip. I think there's a quote like never fail to give your subconscious a task before going to sleep or something like that. And it's so interesting that you say that because just in the last 2 or 3 days, I've been reminding myself of that. I've been doing a little bit more of the sort of like mental rehearsal. So, like, as I'm falling asleep, thinking, okay, this is how my day is going to go tomorrow. Like, this is going to go well, and then this is going to go well. And I'm like mentally running through. That's an interesting alignment that you brought that up. I love how you describe that distinct feeling when your subconscious is talking to you. It
You will
seems like
know.
you have a really evolved sense of your inner voice. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, you should see how like my notes, they have even random words written somewhere because I even write in a different way. When I was studying in university, I could write the first half of sentence, then I would do a space, I would write the end of the sentence, and I still need the middle, so I would jump around through the
Oh.
sentence. And these ideas, they come to me when I'm resting and when I am working. The best way for me to relax, recharge, and connect with myself, I think, better is when I simply go alone for a walk somewhere. And the way you walk, the way you look around, and the way you feel yourself, even at a deeper level, that then you have a conversation with you. Oh, I have this problem, let's say at work, I need to know how do I land that client? And then kind of your other part starts giving you ideas. Oh, you should, mention this, or you should try this. You kind of have conversation, but you relax at the same time and you feel more even motivated. And then I just can't wait to go home and start working because like it recharges your soul. So
Yeah.
for me, it has worked like magic, really.
Hmm. Yeah. Allowing yourself to get into that thinking meditative state can be really effective for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There are people who cannot be left alone with
Hmm.
themselves, with their thoughts, and then they kind of panic. For me, it hits different. Like
Hmm.
I can be with myself, I can be my own company, if it makes sense. And I
Hmm.
think it's important to learn that's a skill
I
that
agree.
we need to develop. I used to work in UK. I didn't have friends where I moved for work, so I kind of learned how to enjoy my own company, even at restaurants,
Mhm.
not necessarily needing someone in front of me. Really, the more time passes, the more I realize how important it is.
As we talk here, I'm discovering that one of your deep dives, one of your one line fascinations is how we as humans relate to ourselves. There's a theme there. With the 5-1 profile, there's this theme of leadership, being able to be very inspirational to people. It feels like this is one area where you are really comfortable stepping into that leadership role. of connection to self and self-understanding, as well as the specific deliverables that you offer in your business. Is there anything in how you do entrepreneurship that links those two together?
That's amazing question. I think it goes back to when I was working at the corporate shop where I had a lot of limitations. So, everything had to be based on the company, the managers, so I didn't have as much freedom. So I feel like now when I'm looking back, I feel like that was limiting me. But when I started my own business, that, me being spontaneous kind of naturally stepped in, because as a business owner, you also need to identify what's currently happening in the industry and what's becoming more popular. And if you don't, in my case, I think starting my own business kind of put that quality in front, because I had more freedom and I could offer more to clients. So when you're working, let's say, for another company, you have kind of a limited box. This is what you can do, this is what you can offer, no more than that. But when you're working for yourself, you don't work in a square box. You start offering more. So you also build at the same time deeper and better connection with your clients, with your customers. It's something that has helped me to grow, to identify again what's missing, and then I had the choice, I had the freedom to make the changes and grow together with the market changes as well change. So I think that's also the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see your impact growing in the next little bit? Like, what kinds of leadership?
Right now, I see myself shifting from content creator position to teacher's position. And I've done some challenges. I found how much I have enjoyed teaching and showing. So it's not now about I can create content for you, but now it's shifting to I can help you to create the content, or as I'd like to say, you can be your own social media manager if you
Mhm.
let me show you how. So I see my role shifting to become more like a teacher.
I feel like that's a very 5-1 thing to do. That totally makes sense on that trajectory.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm excited to draw a card for you. Breathe in and let that go. The card that has come up is I am tender towards the parts of me that feel scared to own my truth. Do I need to tend to my wounds so I can show up for myself?
This affirmation really touches inside some parts,
Mhm.
again, some wounds, but I think it's also part of me who needs to learn how to accept them and not to feel hurt when, let's call it like past shadows reach you from even past relationships, from work. It can be past clients, difficult clients. So don't hold so much, don't take it too deep when you remember those things. So within time, we need to let go. And I think this is a great reminder that if we still keep them there inside alive, every single time we will think of them, it will hurt us. So
Mhm.
I take it as improvement for myself for the future.
Yeah, almost like a reminder to
Yeah.
process and let things flow. Where can people connect with you?
I am on Facebook. You can find me as Erika Plepyte, same on LinkedIn, same on Instagram. And I also have my Facebook group, Instagram Growth Tips for Entrepreneurs. So I'm going live there every day. So you can find me there, ask me a question, and I will do the whole live video answering and helping you grow on Instagram.
Oh, that's fun. That's like a daily deep dive. A one line would
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'm grateful for you for being here.
Thank you so much, Chantelle. It was so nice to connect with you also and talk into more deeper conversation about ourselves, about our human design, and also how it impacts our work.
Yeah. There's nothing a one line loves more than going deep.
Yes, I love going deep as well.